What's going on YouTube? Ryos here, and today we have a very special guest. Today we have my manager, Gianluca.
What's going on, guys?
First off, Happy New Year 2020, the start of a new decade. Wishing you guys a lot of happiness and success, you know, the vibes. We thought it'd be kind of cool to do a video where we talk more on the business side of things on the music industry instead of so much the creative side. I put up a thing on my Instagram where you guys get to leave your questions in the little box. You guys actually had a lot of cool questions regarding artist-manager relationships, general advice on, you know, how to get heard in the music industry and stuff like that. So we're gonna have a more chill video, kind of just a conversation, and hopefully you guys can gain a little bit of insight or stuff like that, or I don't know. Regardless though, let's get to the questions. So a lot of the questions were actually, how do you even find a manager? So maybe you could even tell the story on like how we actually met.
Yeah, so for those who probably aren't familiar, I got into Vine like back in 2014, 2013. So I was on YouTube looking for a song to upload. You know, Zayn's song was 1 out of 30 inside the compilation, and I decided to go with his. I uploaded it to Vine, and to my surprise, he actually reached out to me thanking me, which was something pretty rare at the time. I think that's like
Yeah, I was gonna say, guys, if you hear some like knitting, my cat is absolutely going crazy, so just don't mind that. I'm gonna remove him, but he's gonna probably come back in here. Say hi to the camera bench. He blends in my shirt. Cutie pie. Anyway, basically to finish that off, when you ask how do you find a manager, I think sometimes building relationships from people that are on the same level instead of like trying to aim to, you know, be signed to Drake's manager or Hardwell's manager or something like that. If you can find somebody who has a similar mindset to you that is also starting off and kind of grow together, that's like a very important thing because we've known each other for like almost 6 years, and he's like my older brother. So
and we've been through the ups and downs together and kind of the whole journey, right? So we learned together along the way. You know, there's going to be the rough patches and there's going to be the good things, but you know, we both kind of stuck to it, and along the way have learned more about our craft. Me and the management side of things, and obviously Zayn the production, as you guys can tell from all the tracks he's been releasing.
So Trevor Moto asks, when's the right time to get a manager? What do you think?
Honestly, it all depends on your situation. I would say there's no like exact right time or exact like stage in your career that's the right time to get a manager, but for the most part, a manager is kind of the support unit, right? He comes in and helps you with different areas that maybe you can't excel in, or you know, you're just not really interested in. So in our case, it was like Zayn was 15, 16 at the time. He had just put out a couple singles, and it wasn't even like an official management thing, just kind of me more working with him and saying like, you know, like, you got some really great music, I'm able to do some things on the back end that could really help your music get heard by more people.
Yeah, let me add in too, it was very gradual. It wasn't like he was like, hey, I like your music, let me sign you. It started off exactly like that. He's like, hey, like, maybe I can help you out in this regard. And then it slowly built up to, hey, maybe I can become your manager.
Like, I honestly had no intention of actually even becoming a manager when we first spoke. It was more like, dude, I love your music, like, keep me posted on it all, right? And then finding out, you know, his age, that he was only 15 at the time, and, you know, I kind of started to look at it as, like, I have these managers contacting me to put out their music. Why don't I kind of be the same kind of person? You know, like, these people that are kind of just contacting me for, you know, usage of my channel, so to say, why don't I become friends with them and kind of benefit from that as well, right? So that's what kind of sparked a light in me, is like, why don't I get into the management side of things, test it out, see how it goes.
So in my opinion, from the artist standpoint, I would say the right time to get a manager is when you feel like you find that one person that you connect with and truly feel like they have your best interest. And in my opinion, the artist-manager relationship should be like family. I know typically it's usually more of like a boss-employee sort of relationship, and that's definitely not the case, because at the end of the day, you want to build a brand that you're proud of, and you want to go to work every day happy, and you want to like the people you're working with, right? So
don't just jump at like the first person that comes your way, because, you know, like, you feel like you can just use somebody to kind of work with you, but instead actually make sure they're bringing some kind of value, or like their, you know, their strong points are your weaknesses, and they bring out the best in you, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Noah Nelson asks, very important, what's your favorite cereal?
My favorite cereal? I'm a mini wheats kind of guy. I know it's kind of pathetic since I'm 25 years old, but that's my childhood. Mini wheats and some Frosted Flakes, because they're great.
I would say Frosted. This guy, Frosted Flakes are solid. I would say Captain Crunch or
Captain Crunch. I never got into, man.
I don't even really eat cereal anymore, but let's go with Captain Crunch for me. Robin actually asked a pretty interesting question. He says, how do you manage the health-work balance for Ryos?
On that, it's kind of more about being transparent. It's not like I manage his life, so to say. Like, it's about understanding, you know, what we both kind of want out of the brand and finding like a balance in that, right? So, you know, in terms of release plan, we have a rough schedule of how often we'd like to get songs out. And I always make a point to like tell Zane, like, you know, even if we miss one of the things, it's not the end of the world, you know. It's better that he stays in a good mindset, in a good mind space, because like it's being supportive in the hard times, right?
Exactly.
So like, as opposed to like, oh man, like you got to get your shit together, you know, like, we haven't put out a song. It's not like, it's, you know, being supportive. What are you going through, and kind of the emotional support to get him back to, you know, the Zane that I know he could be, if that makes sense, right? The confident individual. So
Wei Wen asks how to let big record labels or DJs, hear my demo. So I would say personally first, let me go first here, because I think my advice would be like, they will find you if the music is really good and consistent, right? So if you're consistently putting out great records, there's gonna be reason for them to be like, oh, I want to sign this kid, right? If you're making songs that are a little bit different, you're bringing something unique to the table, they're gonna be like, hey, like, what's going on here, you know? That's obviously not all of it. I think on your end...
yeah, don't be scared to reach out.
I was going to say, that's exactly right. You can't just upload a song and be like, oh, they're going to find me. You need to upload it, be consistent, make great music, but then to his point, you want to make sure that you're at least reaching out to them so that you have, sorry to cut you off, but like, you want to reach out to them so that they have at least an idea of you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, touch on that.
And like, just to kind of put it out there, not to sound harsh or whatever, but know the right timing, right? Like, don't compare yourself to the music that the label's releasing, and you knowingly know that everything that it releases on a much higher standard. Like, it's not really... I feel like a situation like that could actually spoil the relationship and kind of leave a bad taste in their mouth, right?
Listen, to be harsh, but it's the absolute truth. You want to make sure that you're honest with yourself and you say, is this song that I'm about to show this label up to par with the other songs as far as the quality goes? Not saying like has to match the genre or something, but like quality, right? Like you want to make sure it sounds professional, has a good mix down, all that good stuff. Because like he said, if you send your song and it's really bad, now they're going to associate your name with it being bad. So you want to make sure you take your time, be honest with yourself, and listen, there's no rush. Make dope music, and everything else will come in time.
100%.
This is pretty interesting, and we sort of touched on it already, but it says, as a new producer, how do you find a manager to send your music to?
Yeah, I would say don't force it, but there's no harm in like putting yourself on people's radar. Right?
I was gonna say networking is huge though.
Yeah, massive, absolutely massive.
So on that, what do you think? Because he's so good at networking. Like if we're at a club or an event or something, I'm usually chilling and he's like bouncing around talking to people. So what's your advice as far as networking? And maybe let's say like online and then also like at an event.
The best advice I think I could give is like be yourself. You know, because if you're just being yourself, very open, you don't have to ever fake anything, right? So show interest in other people if you want them to show interest in you. And there's certain things you could do to just really strengthen relationships, like checking in with people, not only when you need something, but, you know, when you think they may need something. And don't be scared to ask certain things either. A lot of relationships I've built over the years was from me, kind of my curious mind, wondering how things worked, especially in the manager field. Like Zane had mentioned earlier, I had no experience leading into it. So a lot of it was, you know, finding out who managed someone similar to him and kind of picking their brain a little bit. And through doing that, I've built some solid relationships over the years.
And yeah, I would say as far as events goes, like, there's not that many anymore. Like, I know a huge one if you're making dance music is AD. They have a few in the States for, like, hip-hop and stuff.
Like, conferences are great.
Yeah, if you can make your way to these conferences, like, it's a great way to get your music heard. But anyway, let's move on. So, Halil Only asks, how do I get recognized? How do you handle competition? And what about labels? Now, I specifically like the competition in this one. Yeah. So I think to a certain degree, there is this competitiveness in the industry, but at the same time, you are making art and art is subjective. There's no win or lose. So it's hard to be in a competition, but I do understand what you mean. I would say everyone has their path, and as long as you're making something like, I'm going to be careful and not say unique. You don't have to worry about reinventing the wheel, but make sure that you're doing something a little bit different or offering something new to the table. Kind of pave your own lane as far as the competition goes. And yeah, what would your tips be like other than that?
Yeah, just to touch on that, I wouldn't really say that there is really competition. You know, like everyone, as Zane said, everyone has their own path, but everyone's also at their own pace.
That's so true.
So
yeah.
you know, like what might take somebody 3 years to accomplish might take somebody 6 months to accomplish. But you know, the main thing is really consistency, staying consistent, and with that, you know, things will just keep picking up and picking up. So you know, when you start focusing about, and I've always expressed this to Zane too, when you start focusing about what other people are doing, you kind of lose touch of what you're meant to do or what you want to do, right? So
I think if you can get that balance of like compare yourself healthily, is that a word? Do it in a healthy way so that you can kind of gauge yourself, but also understand that you're your own person. I don't want to get too sentimental, but everyone has their own path, you know. Don't put so much stock into like, oh, this person's doing this and I'm not doing this, so my career must suck. No. Everyone has their own path, and it's sometimes nice to gauge yourself to see where you land, but understand that you're on your own path, and yeah, there you go. On that question too, I like the idea of like general tips to like get noticed. So DC, I think that's how you say your name, he says best way to get noticed and get those first couple of steps in the door to the industry. So before you answer, I want to give my advice quick. I truly believe it's all about the music. I think if you have great music, it makes your job so much easier. If you have a song that you show to people and they're like, what the hell, this is so good, it's going to be so much easier to get your foot in the door, right? It's still very hard, and there's luck, and there's timing, and there's all this other stuff. But if you have good music, then step one is checked off. If you make EDM, I would say try to find a way on the labels. Build your way up. Maybe release on the smaller labels. Build your way up. Maybe you have a song that pops off. Make sure you're emailing all these labels. They're so awesome because they have demo drops and emails, and you can reach out. If you're consistently, like let's say once a month, sending a really quality tune to these labels, eventually someone's going to be like, yeah, this guy always sends me good stuff, and like I'm going to check it out, right?
Yeah.
And then you never know. So,
yeah,
consistency and good music is my answer.
Other than the typical labels, there's also a lot of networks and stuff like that in a wide range of genres that you can reach out to. You don't have to necessarily shoot for the stars right away, but kind of build your way up. So, you know, like I personally work with quite a few networks that support Ryos music to this day and are big contributors to his success throughout the time. And it's nothing like huge, right? It's you reach out to them, you know, show them your music. Maybe they own a Spotify playlist, maybe they have a big SoundCloud page or something like that. But in my opinion anyways, the networks like that are the ones with their ears closest to the ground, and they're really finding and seeking the new talent. Don't be scared to, you know, start off slow and, you know, kind of gradually build your way up.
Great advice, brother. So this is pretty interesting. This doesn't really have to do with industry advice, but what is the favorite song that I've ever made? What is your favorite song that I've ever made? That's what I'm going to say.
The latest one you ever made. It's always...
It's going to be the first release of 2020. It's coming with just in a few weeks. I can't give you too much information yet, but I would say that's probably my favorite too. But let's say songs that are out. I think my favorite one, probably Only You. Only You or Identity.
See me...
Or Identity VIP Mix.
That's a solid one. For me, it's constantly switching because I mean, like, I'm his manager, but I'm also, like, a huge fan. Like, I sing all his songs.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Not only the lyrics, the melody as well. So, for me, it's kind of like every time he makes a new song, I'm kind of, like, addicted to that one, you know? And then he makes another one, I'm addicted to that. So, it's like, to pinpoint one, I can't really say, but a couple that have held, like, something special to me is, like, going way back here, but This Could Be Love remix, which kind of, you know, solidified the whole progressive
that was like the start of my career,
Yeah, that thing there, and then, you know, his Neon remix was incredible. More Than Ever was just an absolute banger. I'm gonna end up naming his whole catalog, but, yeah, you know, he's constantly improving, so, I mean, like, in terms of production quality, it's always gonna be his next one, but ideas, like you said, music is subjective, right? So, I really enjoy them all. I can't really put my finger on one specific one.
I'll take it. All right, Joey DeSando. I like this question. It says, if you're the manager, what do you look for in an artist? And if you're an artist, what do you look for in a manager?
To lead that off, I mean, the first thing's obviously potential. You don't have to necessarily see, like, the best in anyone. So, for example, with Zayn, when I first found this song, it's not like the production quality was flawless or close to what it was today. You guys have heard some of his older stuff, but, you know, there was always a sense of, like, this kid knows his melodies. Like, when I listen to his music, it goes the same way that in my head I would hear it go. So like the melodies and stuff like that. And it's the potential aspect, right? So someone that's not really full of themselves, they understand that they have a lot of room to grow and are open to, you know, new ideas and really allowing you to kind of come in there and help them and show them the ropes and contribute to it where you can, right? You have to have kind of that chemistry, right? It's got to work. You got to be able to talk openly with the person and obviously see the potential. Like we've been working together
like 6 some odd years.
6 something years now, and you know, you just have to be prepared that when you get into it, that it's not going to be like an overnight success. There's going to be the big ups and downs.
Yeah, it's huge.
But at the end of the day, you know, you have to be in it for the long run and really believe in the artist. And as long as you believe in them, you're going to put your best effort forth, and collectively you guys will make it work.
Yeah, and I would say from the artist standpoint, what do you look for in a manager? To make it short and sweet, you want to make sure that you have a manager that has that balance of discipline, but also like understands that you're still human. You're not like some songwriting machine, and you know, they treat you with some humility, right? Because if I'm having an off week or an off day or whatever, like he's not like, oh, but this is due, like blah blah blah. Like, he's very understanding, and he's like, listen, dude, like just take the day off, like don't worry about it. That makes me feel better because now I'm like, oh shit, like I don't really have anything to worry about. You know what I mean? So just really find a manager that you connect with. I think, in my opinion, like I said earlier, maybe I've mentioned this a few times now, like you really want to make sure that you get along with the people you work with. It's not even so much just a manager, like anything. If you have a job and you actually like the people you work with, it's gonna make everything so much more enjoyable. So finding someone like you, I think you mentioned it actually, like having a sort of chemistry, right? Like I can quit music tomorrow and we'll still be friends for life. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's not even about the music as far as like our relationship goes. Like obviously we're business partners, but we get to just be friends, and I think that's huge. I think if you have a friend as your manager, I think you have an advantage. Baby Yoda, yay or nay?
The memes, nay. Baby Yoda himself?
The memes? You don't like the memes? The memes are freaking fantastic.
Yeah, until they're all over your feet and you can't even see any other pictures.
Baby Yoda is mad cute. Ready? Did you watch any of the Marvel movies? Do you know who Groot is?
Yeah, Groot.
Who's cuter,
yes.
Baby Yoda or Groot?
Groot.
You think so?
Yeah.
I watched the movies. Groot's pretty cute. I don't know, man. Baby Yoda or Groot? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Tacos or burritos?
Honestly, I'm a taco guy.
Really?
I haven't had that.
I would
burritos.
say American burritos, and if it's authentic cuisine, then tacos.
Yeah.
Joe Dees asks, who is the best entertainment lawyer in the biz? Well, Joe Dees. It's you. It's my lawyer. That's my guy. He actually helped so much. So shout out Joe, my boy, part of the team. Yeah, so I think we're gonna end it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this sort of more casual conversation like video. Thought it'd be fun to do, but we actually have some business to go conduct. So we're gonna end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful, had a good time, all that good stuff. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell because I am uploading every week. If you guys have any ideas, video suggestions, all that good stuff, feel free to leave that in the comment section down below. But that'll be all. You gotta do it with me. That'll be all for today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.